Coffee time with Bobby. So, another thing I wanted to ask you about was Jeff Healy. You haven't even talked about him at all.
No, I knew him. I knew him really well.
How did you meet Jeff Healy?
I don't know. I was in Memphis. You know, I went back to Memphis. I've always tried to go back to Memphis to live. You know, you just can't do it. You can't never go home. You know, no. But I still have a lot of friends there, and they used to do this thing on the park. You know, and it was a soulful thing. You know, and they had the old dude, you know, singing "Old Man River," and oh man. But then they had B.B. King playing, and Jeff was opening up for B.B. King. Well, he came to Memphis, and we got connected. Now, if I could tell you how and how that came about, I would, but I swear it just turned around, and there we were. He called me. He was standing at the hotel right next to the Peabody, and I was going to pick him up and take him out, and I did too.
Show him around.
Well, I had the rounds of the barbecue places, and you know, a good bar to have a beer, and then I called a record store because he used to collect 78s, and he actually became a DJ of those 78s. I called a guy at the music store and told him I was bringing my buddy, and he's blind, and can you get down all the old 78s you can? And he said, yeah. And so Jeff and I we had barbecue at Memphis Barbecue Place, and then I went over to this record store, and the guy had a whole bunch of 78s down, and he was just going through them like this, you know, and then he finally stopped on something, and he picked it out like that, and he took we're talking about those 78s like this, all right? He took it out, and he held it like that, and he put his hand on it like that, and touched it like that, and then he ran his thumb across like that, and it had a label in the middle of it, and he touched that label, and he said, "This is a Phillips 78, and it's been played twice." He could read it by how many times, because he knew all this stuff. Well, and went through some other things, and I couldn't help him. I didn't know what he was looking for, you know. And you know,
could he tell who the artist was as well?
Oh, he knew the whole thing. You know.
Wow.
It was amazing. He could count money. Had a watch he'd flipped open like that. Well, I picked him up and took him everywhere. We had a good time. And he said, "Listen, I'm opening up for BB. And I was going to walk him on the stage." He said, "And you want to come up and play?" I said, "Sure, be happy to." And so I jammed with Jeff and BB in front of all those folks. Sea of afros in Memphis, Tennessee. That's as it should be, down on the Mississippi River, playing R&B. Woo!
Did Jeff Healy go down well?
Oh, he was awesome. You know, because he played on his lap, you know, and a totally unconventional way of doing it. I asked him why did he play that way? He said it's mathematically correct. So for him to play his tune standard, well, he could pull the strings right off the neck.
That wouldn't be something you would expect to hear from a musician that's mathematically correct.
Yeah, but I understood what he was talking about, because it's like he's playing it like almost tight, you know. Pop, pop.
So when you guys were talking, did he tell you about some of the artists that he was into?
No, but what he did do was ask me to come up and play on his album, and so I went up to where the hell was it? It was all the way up north. It was in Colorado somewhere. Snow was everywhere. It was a great studio, and I flew up a couple of weeks after just to do this Hell to Pay. It's Hell to Pay record. I played on a couple of things, and it was really good. When All right, you know, this is when they had Game Boy, Game Boy, little. Right. Well, they'll be watching like The Price is Right on the TV. The guys, he's up beside listening to Price is Right, you know, or one of those things where they say, so and so, and hey, he's got it, you know, and he's all the time he's running a Game Boy, and he said, here it comes, and there's and then when it was coming, but he could, it was absolutely amazing. I picked him up that day when we first met. I arranged to pick him up at that hotel, and so I was walking in, and he's come walking out, and I went, "How'd you get down here?" You know, I mean, he said, "I know how to find my way around." None of his guys were there to help him out at all, and he was standing on like the 10th floor. And he said, I figured it out. He said, I know how to get around. And it was amazing, you know, working with him and getting to know him. And he had a real clear perspective of what he was doing. And wow, real clear. Great white blues player, you know, singer.
Yeah, we lost him way too early.
Yeah.
Did you stay in touch with him at all?
No, I didn't. You know, I got... they sent me a gold album and stuff, and you know, of course, we were in touch for a little while. But that's how it is in the music world. You know, people, you know, it's like ships at sea. You know, and they pass each other. You know, and then sail on. You know, and
so it's funny because you often feel like you're best friends with someone, and you may have only met them once or so.
Well, that's all you need.
Of times.
You know, that's all you need. That first impression is generally the one, you know. I've been surprised a couple of times, but, you know, I saw it coming, you know, for real. I believe we all really know, you know, but we don't want to.
I don't understand. What do you mean? You see what coming?
I don't know. Fate and the change in the universe, you know, and like you're growing, you know, we're not all the time, and you're aware of it. Suddenly you're aware of this parenthetical moment in time. I mean, I turn around and all of a sudden, and here we are, you know, wow. I was born in 1948, and it seems like only yesterday. It's amazing. All that we're going through right now, it's pretty incredible time to be living in. And, the best and the worst of people are coming out, but you know what? It's been that way as far back as I can remember, you know. Just try to get along in life and do what I'm here to do, you know. And now it's paint, make these interviews. This is a way can document stuff that nobody knows but me, you know, about all those things, time, place, and people, things, funny stories, you know, about the Rolling Stones and Eric Clapton, George Harrison. What a lovely man. All those guys are lovely people, every dang one of them. And I was privileged to be in the middle of it with all of them.
What was it like to play with B.B.?
It's B.B. King.
Did you...
And after that gig, it was the opening night. We went over and opened up B.B. King's on Beale after the show. Oh, it was awesome. Killer band up there. Slaying it, you know.
So did you speak with B.B.?
Yeah.
He's a nice man.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
Yeah. Was.
Huh?
Was.
Yeah, he was a nice man. Well, you know, he's still with us, you know.
Did he respect Jeff Healy? Did he like his playing?
Oh, Lord, yeah. Jeff was Slayer.
Yeah.
It was a for real, man.
I thought you were going to say it was a four-wheel Slayer.
No, I'm telling you right now, there wasn't nothing phony about Jeff Healy. And he played horn as well. I mean, so...
you know what?
He was into a lot of things, you know.
What kind of horn?
hell, I don't remember what he
Not
said.
a saxophone.
No, no,
But
no. It was like a horn, you know.
like a trumpet.
Something like that.
Ah.
He was very big into jazz, you know. But wound up having his own program, and I don't know how it happens, you know, but it drifted away from what he was doing. I kind of saw it from afar, you know.
I think he was being led by other people.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Which often happens to the artist. You know, they get led and they get led into a bad place, and there's no returning.
Well, the thing is like you got to trust somebody, you know, and especially if you're a blind guitar player, you know.
But often people trust the wrong people and they take advantage of artists.
Yeah. Well,
it happens more often than not.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this. I'm 72. I'll probably be kicking around here for another 20 years or so, you know. You'll find me with a paintbrush in my hand. But I figure I got a lot of things that I could share, you know, and with all this technology. This stuff will last a long time.
Perhaps we'll do a live show on YouTube and people can ask you questions as well. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that's you know, I'm going to do another live thing with college kids in San Francisco again soon. That was a whole lot of fun, and you know, I know I was right there in the room. You know, in my biography, I did the All Things Must Pass and Layla, and when I was writing about both of those, I was listening on headphones, and it's like I bring you right in here and sit down next to me on the piano or organ and put you in the room, you know, exactly. And it's a song by song, who's doing what and where they were. Like Badfinger boys were all up against the wall, and four of them, every time, right up against the wall in EMI. And that's a big, it was a big room. But I put it where everybody is, and the same thing, and that was every song. So I mean, and here it comes, you know, boom, and you're in it. I did the same thing with the Layla album, a song by song, who did what and what's going down.
In your book.
Yeah, my autobiography.
And it is called.
Bobby Whitlock, a rock and roll autobiography. Right. It's essential reading, you know.
The kids seem to be pretty interested in the music from the 70s. Do you get that? Do you think that it's falling away and we're losing it all, or?
I think it'll all come back around because.
Really, I don't know, because the world is changing so much.
Well, I've accidentally heard of some of what the people are listening to today. And it's so far away from the truth and reality. I mean, guys, you know, there was a beatbox, and he's going.
But he thinks he's a genius.
Playing.
He thinks he's a genius. So
yeah, well, that's
I mean, there's such a huge difference between a real player and somebody who's hitting buttons on a box.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing.
I'm not trying to take anything away from
that all this technology has taken people away from the reality of real music, where it's about soul music, you know.
Yes, but music changes. It always changes.
Yeah, but the heart's still there, you know, the essence of it's still there. But I can't find any in the modern day music.
There are people out there, but it's just changed. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there are enough people who appreciate the music that we do and that we did. You know, there are enough people out there to make it right for us to give them what they need to hear. You know. That's part of our experience on this planet too. We're delivering the goods, you know, and
so
while we can.
How would you encourage a young musician, especially if, you know, most of these people nowadays are not going to be making the kind of I mean, to survive, it would be very, very, even more difficult than ever.
Yeah.
Because of the streaming companies. I mean, what would you say to a kid today that wants to be a musician?
Well, do it for all the right reasons. If you do, I mean, you can't approach anything for the money, you know. That money comes and goes, you know, but...
Do you think, I think other avenues will open. I'm hoping they will.
I believe so, you know.
Because if you're born a creative person...
This big stop in the whole planet didn't happen by accident, you know. Things were spinning out of control, and everything has to pretty much reinvent itself.
Do you think it's a very uneven world right now? Unequal?
Well, I don't know about that. It's always been this and that, you know.
You mean the rich and the poor?
Yeah, there's no change in that, you know. In
was
the
it like
power
that when
structure.
you were growing up? Was it that way that you could see around the world?
I couldn't see around the world. My world was in Diaz, Arkansas.
When you could look out into the world, it was haves or have nots, or
always, yeah. England's a class society. I thought it was like, I mean, these people are serious about all that king and queen and prince and princess stuff. They really are, you know. I said something, was Eric having dinner about something, and they know he said something about the queen. I said, oh, fuck the queen. And they went, what?
no.
I said, for real? I mean, this queen thing you guys, you know, with the princes and princesses. Oh, I loved it. It's like fairy tale land over there, you know. I just loved it. But no, I passed the queen one time.
Well, it's hard if you don't have a country that's run by a sovereign. It's hard to understand that kind of thing. I mean, I loved it.
Well, I thought it was great. I loved the whole thing that was going on. I wasn't a part of it, but I was coming home one Sunday morning real early. You know, I'd been out slamming in London, and I had my Daytona, and it's got a real strong clutch, you know. And 12 cylinders, 6 dual webers, 5-speed. And so I hit right in Windsor, and what I use at 3 in the morning is like my little race course to get back to Ascot. And there was like this, and it was hot. It was like summer. And there was a long line of traffic, just dead stuck, creeping along. And my car started overheating, and my leg was jerking because I couldn't keep the clutch in. It's on and off and on and off, inching. I didn't know what was going on, and no cars were coming. I said, I can't take any more of this. And I pulled out, and I'm passing them, and they're like, look like a little, like that. And I'm going, and then I see these guys on top of a carriage with big feathers coming out of their hats. I'm doing 90. Whoa! And the horses started rearing up. And I just kept going. But when I could see her looking at me like this, when I went, whoa! and her husband is over there, you know. I could see him because I had this snapshot of that brief moment. You know, if I could draw, I could really get it, man. But it wasn't 10 minutes. I got home in Ascot, and the phone was ringing when I walked in. It was Detective Sergeant John Clements telling me that, he said, man, it got back to it. He said, that was the Queen. You passed. I said, I didn't know. I said, my leg was killing me, and I was overheating my car, you know, but it was the Queen. He said, if you pull any more shenanigans like this, you know, we're going to put you out, you know. But had it been 200 years ago, it would have been like, off with his head, you know.